What's up, you guys? Rasati here in Singapore, and as always, thank you so much for joining me on the Night Owl podcast. For those of you who have been here the whole time, gosh, I appreciate you guys. I know some of you have it on shuffle, so you never know what podcast episode is going to pop up for you. And I have had such great encouragement and feedback saying that, sometimes that's the best way to listen to my podcast. So for those of you who are newly joined to this subscription, I appreciate you guys. I hope this helps you in some way or another. If nothing else, it should be a conversation starter. It should, get that thought process percolating a little bit and maybe introduce some new perspectives that you haven't even considered before. Today, I want to talk to you about another account that I love, Humble the Poet, who posted saying that social media isn't your therapist. And it took me a second. I had to sit there for a second and be like, social media. Yeah, you know what? When a lot of us actually post on social media and we post from an emotional place, we're looking for validation that people agree with us, that, I am justified in the way that I feel. I am justified in the course of action I took. I am justified in, the emotional reaction I had to this particular event in my life. And that's all well and good, but there will also be plenty of people out there who are ready to fight you on the idea, who want to, poke holes in your theory, want to tell you that, oh my gosh, you need to be labeled as racist, as sexist, as somebody who is intolerant, somebody who's judging too quickly. But your experience is your own. Your experience is based on previous experiences, your belief system that you were raised with, the values of, the people that you spend the most time with. All that stuff factors into your reaction, your emotion, the way you post, the reason you post, the whole purpose of you even being on social media in the first place. So when they say social media isn't your therapist, it's true, y'all. It's the same reason why your friends actually can't be your therapist. I know a lot of people have come to me and be like, you know what? I like speaking to you. It's really easy. You seem like the big sister type. I really appreciate this and everything, but I don't think I can see you as my therapist because you're just too personable. And I'm thinking, isn't that what you want in a person, in a relationship? Between a therapist and yourself, though? You want someone that you feel safe enough to speak up with, one person that you don't see once in a blue moon and spend your entire session catching them up. See, I can't even speak. Catching them up on the events of the past week or the past month or however often you actually go see this person. You want to actually dig into some stuff and work through some triggers and figure out why it is that you do the things that you do and why you get so offended or why it is that, you can't seem to find happiness or you find yourself down in the dumps a lot. You're not comfortable. You're not happy, whatever the case may be. A therapist is somebody that you should be able to go to when you are at your lowest and actually tell them what's going on in the moment rather than filter yourself at the door like you do at the doctor's office because you're afraid of telling them all the symptoms at the same time. You hear what I'm saying? So when people say social media isn't your therapist, neither are your friends. Neither are people who are, trusted family members, the people you go to for solace. The group of friends you call when you're in the mood to go key up somebody's car. Or the group of people, because conversely, it may be a different group of people, the group of people that take pity on you because you're telling them that, this person hurt your feelings again. And they're willing to stand by your side and help you cry it out or whatever. Or the people that no longer tolerate your calls because you keep saying the same thing over and over again and you're not taking their advice at all. All those people are based on why you're trying to call them. You have them on your speed dial for a reason. It's your circle of control. It's the people that you've chosen to let into your life for specific reasons. Let's think about this. If you had great news to share, right? You got the promotion of your dreams, you found the man of your dreams, someone just asked you to marry them, you know exactly who you would tell and who you wouldn't. You know who would be happy for you and who wouldn't, right? You know if you're in an abusive relationship and that person asked you to marry them, you know who you would call and who you wouldn't. Because some people will set you straight and be like, no, are you sure you want this for the rest of your life? And some people are like, oh my God, you're getting married. That's so amazing. And like that, social media has the same tendency. You have a group of followers that are friends with you through social media and they will hip hip hooray everything you do just because they want to. Because it seems like they're spreading kindness and joy. Some people will not get involved past being at arm's length. And that's okay. It's just, the way it is. But this is not how you solve anything in your life either. I try my level best to be as relatable as possible. As much as I know that cognitive behavioral therapy works to a degree, depending on how you receive information, how you process it. And for some people, it's a little bit more like EMDR, where you have to consider past, present, and future. For some people, it's a little bit more like, neuro-linguistic programming, and Eventually, I have to figure out what pattern or combination of theories that I'm well aware of or comfortable with that might help you, and present it to you in a language that you would understand. I'm not a big fan of lecturers who sit in lecture halls and talk to you at doctorate levels when you're at the high school level. I do not want to speak over your head. I actually want you to understand this stuff. So yeah, I'm going to bring it down into bite-sized terms. I'm going to talk to you in your language to show you that I understand very well what it is that I'm talking about so that you might be able to grasp the concept. It's the reason why when you go into a therapist's office, you have the right to speak to them for one session and figure out if they're a good fit for you or not. Not everyone is a good fit for you. Not everyone will know how to teach someone who is a visual learner. Not everyone will know how to understand what it means to be autistic or on the spectrum. Not everyone will understand how to manage somebody who's going through anxiety and depression. Moreover, some people will not understand how to speak to somebody who happens to be bipolar, to figure out what it is that their triggers are without triggering them, to let them tell you as much as they possibly can, and to pick up on the certain words they choose to describe themselves with or describe events that they've lived through with. Therapy is very different from just posting on social media for validation. And I hate to say that. I'm not saying that all of you, you're only there to be seen or whatever. It's not like that at all. I'm saying, yes, of course, you have a platform to speak up, to let people know, you know what, I've been through something and I don't feel so great. And that's brave on a whole other level. But I want you guys to be aware. As many people as there will be to cheer you on and be like, wow, that's so great, I'm so proud of you, there will be just as many who will pick apart your life and your decisions and why you did this and why you did that. Take posting outfits of the day, for example. Or even then, take reporting that you've been the victim of a sexual abuse situation. And people will very quickly show themselves to be backwards thinking, simple-minded, ignorant people and ask you, did you lead that person on? Did you allow this to happen? Are you the kind of person, who is very loose or dresses in a provocative manner or tends to tease people to the point of, they're going to hit you or they're going to take advantage of you, and why didn't you leave sooner? They're going to say all kinds of nonsense, and are you prepared to deal with all of that? To have to defend anything that you said on social media? I've seen people picked apart just after they mustered up the courage to let the world know, you know what? Something tried to hurt me and I'm still here. Or I tried to take my life and then I realized at the last second, no, that's not the way, and I'm still here. And people will say, oh, well, you know what? So suicidal people don't tell the world that they're suicidal. They tend to hold it into themselves. Suicidal people don't do this and suicidal people don't do that. Well, guess what? There's no one color or picture or status or definition for what makes somebody suicidal. There's no one way to define what it means to be depressed. There are so many things that go into all of those ideas and concepts. It's real easy for you to be like, oh yeah, he gaslighted me, he's a narcissist. I'm glad you know those terms, but do you know what they actually mean? Do you understand what it actually means? Do you know what you need to do to be able to defend yourself in a situation like that? How to get into a place where you're no longer affected by whatever words that may come out of somebody else's mouth, where they're trying to guilt and shame you and belittle you and make you feel like you're the person at fault when they're the ones that are manipulating you. Do you know how to do any of that stuff? Do you know how to recognize it when it's happening before you can actually do something about it? And that's where me, as a therapist, comes in. I feel pretty confident about that. Of course, I'm not going to be in your ear when the situation happens. You're going to have to tell me in retrospect, but guess what? If you can muster up all of the details and tell me about it, we can figure out what the data means so that the next time you see a similar occurrence, you can recognize it well ahead of getting called into that storm that is manipulation. Unfortunately, social media has repercussions. Yes, it is a great space. It is the beginning of something where people can actually speak up and find camaraderie and find like-minded people, but it also attracts simple-minded people as well. people who don't understand, don't want to understand, are hell-bent on misunderstanding you, that will do everything they can to make themselves look good by trying to put you down, not realizing that when they do that in public, it makes them look bad too, but they're not ready to understand that either yet. So when Humble the Poet posted and he said, you know what, y'all need to be real careful. It's not that simple out here. Social media isn't your therapist. It's a place to vent, definitely, to talk about your feelings, but it's not always a safe space, and it's not always the best place to process so that you can move forward, because you're not digging into the past, the why, the how, what it looks like in the future. How do you avoid getting caught in the same cycles over and over again? There is a danger that comes from holding it in, so I'm glad that we have the space to talk about it. But then broadcasting the things you've been through, your thought process, your belief system, invites people to comment. Because that is what we want. We want people to like and comment so our post goes viral or whatever, but are you prepared for those comments? I've had situations where the comments really affect me too. And I'm a trained professional. But I'm still human. And so I'm letting you know, guys, don't stop posting, but do be ready. Be prepared. And if you feel like you need someone to really help you walk through and understand where it's coming from, how you can prevent it, how you can defend yourself, how you can make sure you have a more fulfilling life, make better decisions, I don't know, whatever it is that you may be struggling with, it's worth the money to sit down with a professional and find a way that works for you specifically, so that you can always pick yourself back up, dust yourself off, and keep moving forward. I hope that makes sense. So if you have any questions, concerns, if I said something wrong, by all means, let me know. But that's what I wanted to let you guys know. I wanted to remind you guys, social media isn't your therapist. People have opinions, sure. Your best friends, your parents, your aunts, uncles, teachers, everyone has advice, absolutely. But not all of them are looking at what it is you're going to specifically. They're giving you advice from their own experience, and they're not necessarily able to help you discover where it's coming from. Some of them may be very intuitive and able to do that stuff. But this is what we as therapists are trained to do. This is why we exist in the first place. You hear me? All right, you guys, I'll catch you later. Bye.